Alright, boys, so today I want to do a very quick review of Stranger Things Season 2. So I recently just had the ability to watch this series again, um, and just wanted to give you my quick off-the-top thoughts of it. Now, frankly, I have seen Season 2 of Stranger Things before, so this was more of a rewatch. But my opinion, how does it hold up? Does it compare to the first season? Was this season really good? What are my thoughts on it? I think overall it was a very good season. Honestly, it was a very good follow-up. I thought that there was a lot of really great storylines that were brought up, tied up, wrapped up, and it was very nice. In general, too, the general thing revolving around Will, I thought was nicely connected. Will's definitely in this season, but there's something wrong with him. And we find out that a creature called the Mind Flayer, kind of a creature from the upside down that kind of takes over Will, possesses him, takes control of all these creatures that are kind of nicknamed demo dogs, kind of mini demigorgons, and are basically trying to conquer, in a sense, the reality above the upside down, our reality. And this is also revolving the fact that Eleven is still missing, and we find out later she's living with Hopper. We also find out how the kids, how they react to the end of season 1, react in their own different ways. Mike's being cold, distant. If I remember correctly, I think it's been maybe a year since season 1 happened, or at least it's definitely been a few months, but definitely some time has passed. All the kids are dealing with their things, on their own ways. There's also a new character called Max that's introduced. She's kind of a new kid, I guess, new character to be introduced alongside the pair of them. And in general, right, it's, more characters to deal with alongside her crazy brother. We also have Steve and Nancy, who, throughout the series, Jonathan, who's Will's brother, gets involved with Nancy more. Steve kind of pulls back, but also kind of becomes a mentor to Dustin. And, this is also with all the characters trying to figure out what's happening to Will. And eventually the whole thing kind of concludes at the end with Eleven coming back, reuniting with the kids, her closing the big portal, the Demogorgons, and all this stuff, and the various situations involved. I think this was a really good season. I thought that, no complaints too much from me. I will say that for me personally, it doesn't hold up as well as season 1. I think season 1 was just a perfect bit of storytelling. I found it more engaging. Season 2 was really good, but I think it misses the element that Will being gone had. Like, here he's back, but it's like he's getting possessed by something, which is cool and interesting, but it was like, I don't know. This is me personally. For pros and cons, the visual effects. The visual effects have a massive upgrade in quality in this season. I did complain in my last review that one of my little small nitpicks of season 1 was some of the, more intensive visual effects didn't quite hold up as well as they could have been. But season 2's visual effects massively upgraded. I mean, there's a few wonky shots here and there, but the CGI is really great. Honestly, they massively upgraded. You can tell that they had a bigger budget for season 2. It looks really good. And in general, I thought all the creatures that were introduced in this season, the demo dogs, were kind of cool. I do before the Demogorgons. I do think that the demo dogs were really cool. I also think the Mind Flayer was a really awesome creature. He reminds me a lot of like the Mutos from the 2014 Godzilla film, or I guess if you look at it a certain way, maybe Cloverfield. But he was really cool, and he's a really striking creature, monster. Really cool creature. The only thing I was a little disappointed by is that he never had the chance to enter into our reality. I would have loved to have seen a Godzilla-esque scene where the Mind Flayer was rampaging Hawkins. I mean, imagine how that would have been. It would have been really cool. But yeah, I really liked the creature. I thought all the kids and their storylines were really interesting. Lucas, I mentioned in my last review, he was a bit annoying. I do like how with the new character Max being introduced, which I like her as a character as well. But Lucas has more to do and develops a romantic interest with her. I feel like Lucas was a lot more enjoyable in this season, at least for me, than he was a little bit in the first season. Just like I said, a huge little nitpick I have with the first season, but kind of fixed here, and it's really cool stuff. I like Mike here, even though he has less to do. I think it was awesome we got to learn a lot more about Eleven in this season than the previous season. She actually got to meet her mom. We find out that she kind of has some sort of lost sister, which that was a very interesting episode. Also, her relationship with Hopper. it was all really interesting. We got to know a lot more about Eleven, and it was really awesome to see her reunite with Mike and all the other kids. And of course, the cherry on top was the fact that they had that little school dance at the end. It was really great stuff. Nancy and Jonathan developing to a relationship was also interesting. Good to see. I was a bit surprised how soon it happened, but it was pretty cool. And Steve, once again, continuing to surprise me as a character. From the onset of season 1, he seemed like a douche, but he really kind of proved himself. And I really like his character a lot in season 2. Like, he's like being the bigger man, kind of accepting where Nancy's going in her life, and also being there for Dustin, the kids. That's really awesome. Shout out to Steve. Really great character. I think I mentioned a little bit about Max, but she's like the new character that kind of, in some areas, takes place of 11 till she comes back. She was pretty cool. I think that her vibe was awesome. Her whole thing with her brother was kind of crazy. I forget the actor who plays him, but it's from the 2017 Power Rangers movie. But he's pretty cool. He's really badass. At points, I think it was a bit too cheesy for my taste. I was like, okay, guy, you're really, really showing off the swag a bit too much. But he was really cool and kind of crazy, but in a good way. And I thought the whole storyline with Will being possessed and stuff was pretty good for the most part, even though I do feel like they could have just heated up Will a little bit sooner in the plot, but maybe they just didn't know quite away or didn't have the confidence to. But I think the plot was pretty good. I like the stakes at the end of the season. I do think it kind of wraps up a bit too quickly, but I think for the most part, I thought the storyline was pretty good. The visuals are massively upgraded. I like where some of the characters are going. They're definitely putting some breadcrumbs for future storylines in this season. I think it's overall pretty damn good. I just don't think it quite holds up to the tight storytelling that was in the first season. And some of the, like I said, lingering plot threads kind of linger off sometimes here. Sometimes the show gets a little off track sometimes. But for the most part, I really enjoy season 2 of Stranger Things. But yeah, my quick review. Hopefully you all have a good day, and peace, y'all.